At this time on a Thursday, we always head off to the movies. James Luxford is here from the Metro newspaper, Radio Times magazine. Happy New Year, James.
Happy New Year.
Good to see you. Last time we spoke, since then, the BAFTA nominations have come out. What do you make of the movies that were nominated, and indeed the controversial nature of them? I'm
okay with the nominations broadly. A lot for things like The Irishman and 1917, which we're going to talk about. It is a little disappointing with the lack of inclusion, particularly with films like Parasite, like Little Women. Right. A lot of good movies directed by women. Portrait of a Lady on Fire, the French film. Here's the thing. There's what awards should be and what awards are. What awards should be is something that celebrates films in all forms. What they are TV shows, essentially. Right. And, particularly the Oscars is very focused on getting viewers, American viewers, which is why you don't really see many foreign films nominated or going for the big awards. Okay. So it's a flawed system, and this has always happened. This has always happened in that there's been a lot of things missing from award nominations and a lot of inclusion problems that the Oscars, of course, went 2 or 3 years going through with no non-white acting nominees. It doesn't make it right, but it is something that keeps going on, and I think the backlash is going to press voters to maybe think twice and maybe see a broader range of films.
It'll be very interesting to see what comes up in the Oscar nominations in just a couple of weeks' time from now, won't it? Because that's what's due, I think, next on the agenda next week, I think, as early as that. Let's get into this weekend's movies, though, and we've mentioned this all afternoon. Dying to hear what you think of Sam Mendes' 1917.
A World War I drama from Sam Mendes, who directed Skyfall, Spectre, the last 2 Bond films, and it's about 2 young soldiers who have to travel through no man's land to deliver a message that will save hundreds of lives.
You have a brother in the 2nd Battalion.
Yes, sir.
They're walking into a trap. Your orders are to deliver a message, calling off tomorrow morning's attack. If you fail, it will be a massacre.
Wow, okay. I've seen a kind of a behind-the-scenes look at how they made this, with the whole sort of, moving one-shot camera and everything happening during one shot and the whole editing process. It looks like a completely different approach to making a movie.
It is absolutely superb. As you say, it's presented in a format where it's all presented as one shot. It's a little bit of trickery, so I think there are cuts there, but you don't really notice them apart from one very obvious one. And just amazing, well written, incredibly well acted. George Mackay, who plays one of the soldiers, is kind of the point of view of the audience. He was in Pride as well, in a sort of similar, not similar role, but in that kind of audience point of view role. And he's superb. There's all of these big actors like Benedict Cumberbatch, Colin Firth, you just heard there, Mark Strong. They pop up in tiny little roles, but still impressive. There's not many great World War I films, mostly because the Americans weren't that involved and they love a story about them. But I think this really goes... I thought it was breathtaking. I think it doesn't have a Saving Private Ryan kind of war scene where everything's sort of thrown at you, but it doesn't shy away from violence. It's more the spectre of it. They're going through no man's land after the fighting ceased, so it's that kind of ghost of what's happened, which is all the more affecting. Okay. Great film, great British film, and I hope it does very well.
1917. It's out in Coventry and Warwickshire cinemas this weekend. Very interested to see what you make of this. It's the new Adam Sandler movie. It's called Uncut Gems.
Yes, tense drama starring Adam Sandler as a New York jeweler and a gambling addict who gets himself into a lot of trouble.
You're taking my money all over town, placing bets.
I'm having very serious second thoughts.
Are you serious right now?
Now, we know him, kind of, don't we, for sort of kooky comedies. This is not a comedy.
I loathe Adam Sandler. Right. I've got to say, the last 20 years of his career, I've thought it's been very lazy, kind of very easy comedies. I really liked his early stuff, Wedding Singer, Big Daddy, things like that. There's something very lazy about the way he kind of makes the same thing again and again. So believe me when I say he is extraordinary here.
Wow.
He's absolutely fantastic. It's a different kind of role for this guy. He's a tough, goes up against these big kind of New York mob guys, and he doesn't really feel like the guy who was in Waterboy, you know? And he feels like someone who's of that world, and he's, he's really quite a wretched character, but plays it so well that you're rooting for him as he's, making one bad decision to pay off the last bad decision, and then both bad decisions go wrong. It's really tense. It's really well made by the Safdie brothers, who are kind of they're reminiscent of sort of 90s filmmaking, just very lo-fi, very gritty style of filmmaking. I think they really felt like they belonged to that time, and they're really exciting filmmakers to watch. Just coming together, bringing a new performance out of someone who you know for something else.
Okay, a positive Adam Sandler review, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here. And you'll always pick a little home entertainment selection for us to maybe look out for this weekend. What have you gone for?
It's The Farewell, which is out on Blu-ray, DVD, download all the things from Monday. It's a comedy about a family who keep their elderly relative in the dark about her terminal illness.
Shouldn't we tell her? Isn't it wrong to lie?
It's a good lie. Most families in China would choose not to tell her.
Okay, The Farewell. What's this like?
It's very sweet, and it's morbid subject matter, as you'd imagine, but kind of finds the comedy and heart in that family interaction. Going up for the awards, Awkwafina, who starred in the film, just won a Golden Globe for Best Actress. I really think she's got a good chance at the Oscars, because it's quite I think it's a film that, despite the international difference, anyone can relate to.
Okay, got a minute or so. It's Oscars nominations next weekend. Are we expecting the Oscars to follow the BAFTAs, the Golden Globes? Are we expecting Irishman? Are we expecting Joker 1917 to dominate? Is there anything a surprise we might look at for?
I think they'll be very careful to avoid the same trap that BAFTA did, because they have had their own inclusion problems in the past. What I will say is it'll be very interesting. The Golden Globes shut out all of the Netflix films apart from, I think, Marriage Story won Best Supporting Actress. Has sent a very big message to streaming service, so I'll be very interested to see. I'm assuming The Irishman and Two Popes and others Netflix film will be in there. It'll be very interesting to see if they actually win.
Okay, and Little Women, maybe? For
I would
director?
say that. I love Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
I like Little Women.
Amazed she didn't make the director on the BAFTAs.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest omissions for me.
Yeah, okay. So we'll look out for that as well, maybe, when the Oscars get announced next week. See you next week, James. Thanks very much indeed. James Luxford, Metro newspaper and Radio Times. You can read his reviews every week and hear them here every Thursday on BBC Coventry and Warwickshire.
BBC Coventry and Warwickshire Travel.
4:55 is Erica.